Just like everyone else. All right, so the first thing is that basically the tip of the nose is kind of like a sphere. I treat it like a sphere, so I draw it as a circle first, and then I'll kind of connect the actual bridge of the nose to the tip of the nose. And then each nostril I treat like a sphere also, and then I shape them out together. Okay? If you look at the inside corner of the eyeball, that kind of lines up somewhere with your nostrils. So you just want to take like a vertical line there and then just indicate where the eye is. We're not going to actually, paint the whole eye. You do want to set where the eyebrow is. Okay. All right, this stuff doesn't have to be perfect up here. It's just for reference. Okay, so we have our eyes up here. We draw down from the corners of the eyes for where the nostrils are. Okay, so the nostrils are a little bit wider than that. First, I try to just shape out the outside of the nostril like this. Shape out sort of the bridge of the nose with like indicating lines, but not like outlining, right? We just want to know how wide it is. And then taking a look at the shape of the nostrils, this is where it's kind of important. It's sort of like a line like this that angles down on my nose anyway. Everyone's noses are different. And kind of like just circles around like this. And then you just want to check. You just want to check your shapes and your proportions before you start painting. And that's all you really need to draw. Started out on a dirty road. Started out. Okay. Now we got to paint this bad boy. You can leave actually your construction lines, you know, in pencil there. They won't be very noticeable. If you want to erase them, then that's cool too. But you don't even really need to erase them. They're not going to be noticeable. All right. Paper towel. I'm going to just clean my palette off here. I'm going to use those same 3 colors. Yeah. It's always good to start fresh. A new session, a new day. We're looking at lemon yellow. Just gonna add a little fresh on here. Boom. Carmine red. I'm not even gonna add that. And cobalt blue. So I'm just going to get a base layer. I will take note of bright spots. I'm actually going to draw them out for you. Highlight spots that I'm probably just going to leave completely blank. Here, here, and here. Actually, this one needs to move in a little bit. Like right there. So I'm going to leave those white. Always have your trusty test strip over here. So I'm just mixing it into an orange. My skin tone is a little bit redder than most, so I always leave a little bit more towards the red side than I would most likely if I was painting, for example, my wife. And then I'm just gonna punch a little blue in there. Ooh, a little too much, I think, but we'll see. And let's take a look. Bam. Yeah, so see what happens with that blue. With that blue, it turns more brown, and then eventually will turn gray. And so I need to kick up the warms here for my skin tone because it's not as brown as it is red. It's getting better. Still need more. That should probably be pretty good right there. There we go. So see how that red tone changes it? from browner and more neutral to what's here is more peach. Okay, so I'm going to paint the whole thing, and then I'm going to go in and basically add the shadows, but I'm going to paint around those white spots. Matter of fact, I can even, well, I'll use this brush. And even as the paint runs out on your brush naturally, it changes the tone a little bit, and then you can kind of control where you're putting the darker tones. But in the beginning, we're just getting coverage. It's like a base layer, it's a wash. All right, so it's looking flat right now with the exception of those highlights where we are, right? And so now we need to deepen the shadows. And I'm just gonna let it trail off at the mouth here. And so we start to build. I'm actually gonna create another section in my palette. So again, we're going to use the same colors, but with more intensity. So more intensity meaning less water. All right, looks a little purple, right? So I need some lemon yellow. Because yellow is the complementary color to purple. All right, now I'm going to look at just the places that are the darkest. So up underneath my eye, okay, and I'm just going to lay it in there like that and just look at the way that the shape in that shadow travels. It's a little bit brown for my liking, to be honest with you. I'm going to add some blue in there and then mix it in there. And literally, I'm just slapping them in where I see darkness, and I know that I'm going to have to move kind of quickly because I'm going to go back and soften these. Okay, so that's all really harsh. So I go and I take a clean brush now, and then I'm going to soften the edges of the shadows that I want to be softer, and let it bleed into the color, the other color. the base color, and then spread it out some. And this is sort of the art of it, guys, because you don't want to do too much of this bleeding. But in general, it's really, really helpful. But you don't want to leave these harsh edges, except for maybe in certain spots where it does feel harsh. So this is just clean water, guys, and I'm moving the paint that's down already. Okay, so now I'm going to take some shadow color, and now I'm going to look at more specific shadows. Those were just the big dark areas that I kind of like spread out. Okay, so important shadows, very, very important shadows. The underside of the nose. So I'm just going to go boom, 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 and then how it comes down here a little bit. Okay, that defines the shape of the nose. Right there, like that. This will also be a way to create the Cupid's bow. Okay, right there. Super important shadow. I'm going to go into my number 5 brush, my smaller brush. And then I'm going to look at on the outside of the nostrils. These little spots here. The general shape of the tip of the nose kind of gets defined by lighter shading like this. So it comes forward. The cheek area gets formed here, and then the shading kind of works its way up. Again, I lay it down and then I use clean water to bring it softer. Okay, and now there's also shading from the brow, so actually the eyebrow itself, and then sort of the brow bone, how it overhangs. Okay, here. And then I'll soften it. All right, well, yeah, that's basically it. You don't want to actually overpaint a nose. There's a little shading right here too. All right, anyway, that's good enough for the nose for now. The one thing about noses is that it's easy to overpaint and do too much to them, right? But if you get the general shape, you get the important dark shadows and then the basic under shadows and outside edge defining shadows, that's usually your best bet to leave it go. So this one's okay. I don't know. I may have overpainted a little bit, but whatever. It's a practice. You know, the other thing is using a damp paper towel to go back in and clean things up too, and smooth things a little bit. That works nicely. But yeah, this main area right here is really the key.